learning to get to that point. I promise learning can be fun. We kind of switch our mindset with it. So I just kind of put some tips together and lessons that I kind of learned along the way that I hope you guys can take with you. I know you guys are going to have amazingly unique journeys after high school. Some of you may play sports, some of you may not. Some of you may go a military route or college, or you might graduate high school and become an entrepreneur or start a business or join a family business. So hopefully these tips can go in any of those journeys that you take. So first I just kind of wanted to talk about how we create an environment around ourselves for success. And academically, I think one of the first things, a lot of times you've heard you can't control what happens kind of around you or to you, but you can control kind of how you react to that. So our attitude is really important when we go into class. So if we kind of go into class and we're kind of like, oh, this is going to be boring, I don't want to do this. But if we go into class and we're energetic, we're ready, we realize that what we're about to learn, it is a blessing when we can grow in knowledge. That really helps. And I think the biggest thing is looking at academics, and anything you're really learning in life is curiosity. I'm curious by nature. Sometimes to a fault I ask a lot of questions, and a lot of professors got really annoyed with me, but I think if you can go into situations and be really curious about it, it makes learning more enjoyable. Second thing is, this is one is hard for me too, I'm a little shy, but when you find yourself going into a classroom setting, sometimes it'll be small, you'll just have a few people, sometimes it'll be huge, like a huge auditorium with hundreds of other classmates. I encourage you guys to go to the best seat of the house, which is in the front row. When you get yourself to the front row, you're showing your professors that you want to be there, you're ready, and you're prepared. So you're there early, and you're rested, and you're ready to go. My next one is reducing distractions. So we hear this one a lot, but I think when we can be really intentional about it and unique to ourselves, we can figure out what our main distractions are. As mom and dads, we tell you, don't watch the TV when you're studying, turn off your phones. So I have a little story with this. I thought I would have a few, anybody a Georgia Bulldog football fan in here? Okay, a couple. So I saw a cool interview with Stetson Bennett before the national championship, and the reporters were asking him, how do you reduce distractions? How do you stay focused academically and with your sports? And it was really cool because he said, oh, that's really cool that you'd ask that question, because recently I kind of took assessment of my day, and he said, I noticed I was on my phone a lot. I was on my phone like an hour to 2 hours a day, and some of it wasn't going towards my goals. So he went to the phone store, he took a smartphone, he put it on the counter, and he said, I just want to get a regular phone. So he ended up getting a flip phone, which is kind of an inside joke because I myself have a flip phone. All it does is call, all it does is text. And for him, he intentionally looked at his environment to see what for him would be something that he could take out that would keep him more focused on his goals. So reducing distractions is a big one. Another one is we do want to surround ourselves with others who are going to encourage us. So surrounding ourselves with people who have similar goals to us. Because at any time, you're either going to be with people who are kind of pulling you away from your goals or pushing you, encouraging you towards them. So academically, for me, I had to get out of the dorms. I spent a lot of time in the library, but I knew I had to do that because there was a lot of fun things going on in the dorms. And so when you surround yourself with those that support you, you stay focused on your goals. So the library, it was other people who wanted to do well academically as well. And I wanted to stay focused because I knew the sacrifices that my parents had made to send me to school. So I wanted to surround myself with others that would encourage me and keep me on that track. So we create the environment for success, but we are going to have struggles. It's not really if we're going to struggle, it's when. And I think the sooner you start to feel any kind of struggle and academically, the sooner you can reach out, the better. There's a lot of resources that will help you along the way with that. The first one is in high school you'll have guidance counselors, and in college you'll have have academic advisors. These individuals are wonderful because they have so much knowledge to help you. And it's a partnership, so you definitely want to utilize them and go in prepared. Make sure you know what courses you need, what classes you need to stay on track, and they'll help you along with that. My next one is tutoring. So I think sometimes tutoring gets a little bit of a negative thought to it, but to kind of relate it to what you guys do with lacrosse. So if you want to improve like your shot, you may go to a special shooting clinic, or you may get a specialized coach that helps you with your shot. So hopefully, I would encourage you guys to look at tutoring kind of in that way. Science was not my strong suit, so I definitely had tutors in chemistry. So it's kind of like getting a specialized coach, and that helps you. So the sooner you can utilize those resources, the better. At Widener, we actually had it was called Pack Hall. So it was older upperclassmen, mostly athletes, and as freshmen, it was a mandatory study hall for us. So our coaches sent us to that study hall, and we had to go pretty much every night. But it got us started on a good track. So definitely utilize any tutoring opportunities that are available to you. We also had a writing center on campus, and I had a professor, and she said, okay, if you do a paper and you get anything less than an A, you can take it over to the writing center, you can redo it, and I'll regrade it up until you get an A, as many times as you want to do it. And I was like, this is awesome. So I got a paper back, I didn't get an A, I marched myself over to the writing center, I walked in and I said, I'd like to get an A, and I need help. And they said, okay, and they said, have a seat. And they took my paper and they just scratched it all over the place, and they said, change this, do this. So I did that every time, because I wanted to succeed, I wanted to get an A, and I was trying to use anything I could to help me with that. I also had a food science professor, and he was very funny. He said, my tests are out there, I use the same test all the time, so if you can find it, study it. And I was like, I need to find that test. So I started asking around, and a little tip, fraternities and sororities keep a lot of study materials year to year, so you can find some tests. So anything that you can utilize to help take advantage of everything that they offer. My biggest piece of advice with any resource that you utilize, you'll have people that will make huge impacts on your life as you go through school. And I think something we've lost is a handwritten note of thanks. We were taught when we went on job interviews, they said the very next day, write a handwritten note, doesn't have to be long, a couple sentences, thank them for their time, and put it in the mail. So I would really encourage you guys, take a stack of thank you notes with you when you go to school, and anybody who's made an impact on your life, return that and show them your gratitude, and I can promise you it will make a lasting impression. So definitely do that. One of the last things that I wanted to offer as a little tip or piece of advice was a project that we were tasked with doing my freshman year at Widener. I took a class called Freshman Seminar, so it helped us get acquainted to college life and everything that was new. And we were talking about corporations and organizations and how most of them have mission statements. And what that does for an organization, it allows everybody to have principles that guide all of the decisions that they make and keep them on task to their goal. So she said, what I want all of you to do is I want all of you to develop your own personal mission statement for yourself. I was like, wow, I've never thought of that before. Because as you guys get older and you think about careers and what you want to do and what you're passionate about, I found that it helped me to have a personal mission statement to kind of keep me focused on all the decisions I was making. Were they going towards what my ultimate goals were? And it changes as you get older, but it keeps you focused. And so my guiding principles, one is my faith. My faith in God is one of the biggest things that kind of helps me stay centered in all my decisions. Second is my family. We make different decisions about careers and things like that. We kind of do it together. And third is when I added, because I tend to be scared of new things. I kind of like things to be, kind of controlled, and I don't like surprises and things like that. So I added for my personal mission statement adventure. So I challenge myself to do things that are totally outside the box and kind of force me to learn something new, and those kind of experiences always teach us something. So as you develop your own personal mission statements, you kind of put together everything that's going to guide you as you make all of your decisions. So I'll finish with my top 5 kind of things that I hope help as you go through your high school and college careers as you get towards your careers. Definitely anytime you're in any learning environment, grab the front row seat. It's the best seat in the house, and it keeps you focused and shows whoever's teaching you, whether it's on the job training, it shows them, I want to be here, I'm invested in this, I'm curious, I'm ready to learn. Second is those thank you notes. They mean the world to people and the people that impact your life. So definitely, send those as you have those impactful mentors along the way. Reach out to resources at the first sign of struggle. Like I said, it's not, if we're gonna struggle, it's when, we all are gonna hit patches where, we all have our strengths. So especially with academics, there's gonna be some courses that come really easy and some that are gonna be very hard, and you have to just work really, really hard and use everything around you. So definitely don't be afraid to reach out. You have a ton of awesome resources in this room, your parents, coaches, that are here for you and want all of the amazing things on your journeys for you. Personal mission statements, start thinking about that. Start thinking about your life. What do you want it to look like? What impact do you want to have? Kind of what's going to guide you? And my last thing is just to remember that careers aren't set in stone. I'm not doing what I went to school for. My husband is not doing what he went to school for. Life is an adventure. And enjoy the adventure along the way, and remember it can take different turns, and that's okay too. So I hope that helps. I'm excited to see where all of your journeys take you. You guys all have amazing work ethics. You're on Starts and Strokes. You worked hard to get here. So I'm excited to see where all your futures go. So best of luck to everybody.
Yeah.
I hope you really listened to a lot of the things that Jodi was talking about, because I'm in the corporate world, we talk about the same things, right? And the one thing that really got me is it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help, right, in anything. So hopefully that made sense to you. And Evan's team for lacrosse, they're required to sit in the front row in every class. The coach requires it. Any questions for Jodi? Yes, in the back, Hayden.
How did you study?
Great question. Actually, I just had this conversation with my daughter because she's a sophomore in high school and she plays volleyball, and she plays club volleyball and they're traveling, and she's like, I feel like I'm studying enough, but she's like, I get to the test and I feel like I don't remember everything. So one of my biggest things that I tell my kids is flashcards really helped me. So if it's a subject where it's a lot of just learning facts and things like that, flashcards are something you can throw in your backpack and you can do it on the way to a practice or something like that. Study groups are a really good one. In high school, we used to have huge study group parties. We'd go over to somebody's house, mom would make a huge dinner, and we'd all just quiz each other and go through our notes. Going to class is really important. That is a big one. When you get to college, don't miss a class. Rereading chapters, any review sheets that you're given, and just going through it as many times as you can. But also kind of seeing where you're struggling with, and really getting the help quickly. Because once you're behind, sometimes it compounds, and then we're really behind. So just staying on top of anything that just is not really making sense. But flashcards is a good one, highlighting and taking notes and going back through it, but rereading chapters too, because my daughter was like, well, I read the chapter. They were reading a book, and she gets to the quiz, and she was like, I said, well, honey, how long did it take you to read the chapter? She said, 20 minutes. I said, so how many times did you read the chapter? She said, once. I I said, well, wow, you could read that chapter every day. 20 minutes today, tomorrow, So kind of things like that. But just like really like putting forth a lot of effort, same you do for sports.
Okay. Thanks, Jodi. Anyone else? All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Jodi.
Jodi reached out and said, I really want to participate and I have a story to tell. So thank you so much for reaching out. All right, this is your chance